Welcome to the Deep Dive on Tech Talk Central. Today, we're untangling two really interesting machines, powerful but also super portable. We've got the Razer Blade 15 advanced gaming laptop squaring off against the MSI Stealth 16 AI Studio.
Yeah, and the theme here is really power meets portability. Looking at the specs you sent over, it's clear we're seeing two different takes, almost two different generations of thin and light performance laptops. It's going to be interesting to unpack what really separates them.
Definitely. Okay, so let's dive right in, starting with the core performance, the raw horsepower. The Razer Blade 15, this configuration runs on the 10th Gen Intel Core i7-10875H.
Right, that's an 8-core chip, still capable, designed to boost up to 5.1 gigahertz.
Okay, 8 cores. And the MSI.
Well, this is where you see that generational leap. The MSI Stealth 16 also targets that 5.1 gigahertz boost, but it's using the much newer Intel Core Ultra 9 185H.
Ultra 9. That sounds like a big step up.
It absolutely is. We're talking 16 cores here, so double the count. But it's not just about core count. The architecture itself is a huge improvement. Better efficiency, better instructions per clock, and critically, it includes the Intel AI Boost NPU.
Ah, the neural processing unit. That's for the AI stuff, right?
Exactly. Things like, co-pilot immigration, background effects in calls, that kind of thing. It offloads those tasks so your main CPU and GPU aren't getting bogged down, which helps with battery life and heat too.
Gotcha. And this difference carries over to the graphics cards too, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. The Razer uses the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Supermax Q, good card for its time, 8 gigs of GDDR6.
Okay. Still decent.
Yeah, but the MSI jumps 2 full generations ahead. It's got the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070, also with 8 gigs of GDDR6.
Wow, 2070 Super versus a 4070. That's quite the gap.
It's a huge gap. And it's not just about the raw frame rates, though. The 4070 is obviously much faster there. It also unlocks newer features like DLSS 3, frame generation specifically.
Right, which can be a massive boost in demanding games. Helps you keep those frame rates high even with settings cranked up.
Precisely. So for you, the listener, that really impacts the longevity, the future-proofing of the machine for new titles. The 2070 is going to start showing its age much sooner.
Okay, performance-wise, a clear win for the MSI on paper due to the newer generation components. What about memory and storage? That often reveals the target user.
It really does. And here again, big differences. The MSI is configured, I'd say, more for a creator or power user straight out of the box. It comes with a whopping 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, super fast, massive capacity, and a 1 terabyte PCIe SSD.
64 gigs. Okay, yeah, that's serious multitasking territory. And the Razer.
The Razer configuration we're looking at is more focused. It has 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD.
16 gigs DDR4. Still fine for gaming mostly, but definitely less headroom than 64 gigs of DDR5. And half the storage.
Exactly. You can usually upgrade RAM and storage on these types of laptops later, but the starting point for the Razer suggests maybe a focus on hitting a certain price point, prioritizing other things.
Like the display, perhaps.
That seems likely, because the Razer goes all in on speed there. It's got a 15.6-inch full HD display, so 1920 by 1080, but with a crazy fast 300 hertz refresh rate.
300 hertz? Okay, yeah, that screams competitive esports. Smoothness above all else.
Right. Whereas the MSI takes a different approach, maybe leaning more towards that creator side again. It has a slightly larger 16-inch screen, uses a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which gives you more vertical space.
1920 by 1200 resolution then. Full HD plus.
Correct. Better for things like video timelines, documents, web browsing. The refresh rate is lower, though, at 165 hertz.
That's still very smooth, but not the extreme speed of the Razer, a trade-off for that extra screen real estate and aspect ratio.
Precisely. So you choose absolute maximum refresh rate for gaming or a taller, slightly larger screen better suited for productivity and creative work.
Interesting. Now, for power meets portability, the actual portability specs are key. How do they stack up physically?
They are remarkably close, actually, considering the generational difference and screen size difference.
Okay. The Razer is known for its build, right? That CNC aluminum unibody?
Yeah, very solid. And it uses a vapor chamber for cooling, which is pretty advanced. Spec-wise, it's about 0.7 inches thin and weighs around 4.4 pounds.
Pretty slim, pretty light for the power.
Very. But what's kind of amazing is the MSI, despite having that larger 16-inch screen and newer, potentially hotter components, dot comes in at 0.79 inches thin, so slightly thicker but barely noticeable, and actually weighs a fraction less at 4.39 pounds.
Wow. Almost identical weight despite the larger screen. That's impressive engineering.
It really is. And the MSI packs in some modern mobile advantages too. Things like Thunderbolt 4 ports, killer Wi-Fi 7 for the latest wireless tech, and a huge 99.9 watt-hour battery. That's basically the maximum legal limit you can carry on a plane, built for endurance.
Right, whereas the Razer might have a smaller battery to hit that thinness. Okay, what about those sort of defining extra features?
Yeah, they highlight the different philosophies again. Razer really emphasizes a clean experience. Zero bloatware is their tagline. Plus, their Chrome RGB lighting is, very advanced and customizable. It's about that pure gaming focus.
Clean install gamer aesthetic. Got it.
The MSI, on the other hand, leans into its modern platform. It comes with Windows 11 Pro and really highlights that Copilot AI integration, leveraging the NPU we talked about earlier. It's betting on that AI-assisted future for productivity.
Okay, so wrapping this up, how should someone choose between these two? It seems like a classic generational trade-off.
It really boils down to that, yeah. The Razer, this older configuration, is for someone who prioritizes that extreme high refresh rate screen for competitive gaming right now, maybe likes the slightly thinner profile, and perhaps finds it at a lower entry price. The MSI is the forward-looking choice. You're getting significantly more CPU power, that NPU for AI tasks, way more, faster memory out of the box, next-gen graphics with DLSS 3, and modern connectivity, plus that huge battery.
So pure gaming speed today in a slightly sleeker shell versus next-gen platform power and features for broader use.
That sums it up pretty well. You need to ask yourself, are you buying purely for today's high-speed gaming, or are you investing in a platform with more future potential for gaming, creativity, and AI integration?
That was a really insightful deep dive. Hopefully that comparison gave you listening some clarity, maybe a few aha moments.
Yeah, two great machines just aimed at slightly different priorities within that ultra-portable performance space. And of course, prices fluctuate. To find the latest deals on either of these laptops, definitely check out the links we've put in the description below.
Absolutely. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into the latest tech, make sure you subscribe to Tech Talk Central.